He invited me, not my husband, to his private cabin in the woods. And what happened there didn't break my vows, but it shattered something deeper inside me. I didn't go looking for anything. I just wanted to breathe, to feel quiet. But in the stillness of that weekend with James, my husband's boss, I found a version of myself I thought had long since died. Welcome to the channel, where we tell stories that don't always end in scandal, but often begin with a moment we never expected. If you've ever felt invisible in your own life, or awakened by someone who had no right to see you so clearly, this story might stay with you. Have you ever felt more alive in a moment you weren't supposed to be in? Is it still betrayal? If it wasn't about lust, but about being seen? Would you tell your partner or keep it locked away, like a secret only your soul remembers? Share your thoughts in the comments. You're not alone in the questions you're afraid to ask out loud. If this story moves you, if it makes you pause, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We release new stories every week, stories that whisper what no one else dares to say. It was a Tuesday when the phone call arrived, a detail etched in my memory as I pondered whether the leftover chicken would still be suitable for Mark's lunch the following day. Mark is my husband, a good man, as steady and predictable as the sunrise. After 30 years together, this constancy brings both comfort and, if I'm being completely honest, occasionally a quiet little sigh that lingers in the back of my throat. The caller ID displayed Whitmore Industries. That was James Whitmore, Mark's superior, a figure I had encountered only a few times at formal corporate gatherings, always impeccably attired, with a composed smile and eyes that appeared to perceive more than what was merely presented. Mark consistently referred to him with a peculiar sort of reverence, Mr. Whitmore, never James, even in casual conversation with me. Greetings, this is Claire Vance on the line. Good afternoon, Claire. Greetings, this is James Whitmore speaking. His voice was more velvety than I recalled, less corporate, more inviting, reminiscent of aged leather, if that resonates at all. I trust this moment finds you well. Not in the slightest, Mr. Whitmore. Is everything okay? Mark instantly occupied my thoughts. Did something occur at work? All is well. I appreciate your concern. Indeed, I reached out with a rather unique invitation, tailored just for you. I almost let the chicken slip from my grasp. I possess a quaint cabin nestled near the serene shores of Whisperwind Lake. The stillness envelops everything, creating a profound sense of tranquility. This location serves as an excellent sanctuary for clearing the mind. This weekend, from Friday to Sunday, I had intended to make the journey up, and it struck me that you might appreciate the invigorating embrace of the fresh air. Mark has shared that you have a deep appreciation for nature and that you've dedicated much effort to your garden this year. For a brief moment, I found myself rendered speechless. Whisperwind Lake exuded a breathtaking beauty. I had glimpsed the images, yet here I was, solitary and questioning why it was me. Your kindness is greatly appreciated, Mr. Whitmore. Is Mark invited as well? A brief moment of silence lingered in the air. Mark noted that he is facing a significant project deadline. He's driving forward all weekend. He mentioned that he would probably be working continuously. I would prefer not to divert his attention. This was more of an impulsive reflection, an opportunity for a moment of serene escape. If this piques your interest, feel free to explore it. No pressure whatsoever. Certainly. Thoughts surged through my mind. Mark had truly found himself engulfed in his responsibilities, returning home late, weighed down by stress and fatigue. He would hardly make for pleasant company, even if he were able to attend. And I, a weekend removed from the monotony, from the constant assessment of the chicken's edibility, from the subtle murmur of unvoiced restlessness, it felt like a dream. Yet it carried an air of complexity. Alone in the cabin with the boss, your generosity is truly commendable, Mr. Whitmore. I started to select my words with great care. That area truly captivates me. May I take a moment to ponder this and reach out to you shortly? Certainly, Claire. Embrace the moment and allow yourself the luxury of time. If you happen to misplace my direct line, my assistant has it readily available. I planned to make my way up around noon on Friday. As I ended the call, my heart began a peculiar little tap dance. That evening, as we sat over reheated lasagna, I shared the news with Mark. He was taken aback, to put it mildly. Whitmore has extended an invitation for you to join him at his cabin. He set his fork aside. Only you. He mentioned that you were occupied with the project, I remarked, observing the expression on his face. He brought up that you mentioned my fondness for nature. Mark stroked his chin thoughtfully. Indeed, I suppose I did bring up your roses some time ago. Indeed. Whitmore presents a curious puzzle. He tends to remain reserved, often choosing solitude beyond the confines of his professional life. Yet his cabin is meant to be truly extraordinary, extremely isolated. He is a decent man. Claire, somewhat formal yet respectable. If you wish to leave, I find myself unable to escape. He drifted into silence, his mind already occupied with thoughts of his spreadsheets. I sensed it. Would it be too much to ask for your indulgence? He cast his gaze upon me then. Truly observed. Perhaps he noticed the fatigue I often strive to conceal, or the subtle spark of desire for a change. Of course not, dear. It's no trouble at all. It could prove beneficial for you. Step outside and embrace the crispness of the open air. Exercise caution, if you will. Not that Whitmore is, shall we say, lacking in certain qualities. I was aware. He implied that Whitmore was a distinguished older gentleman, likely in his late 60s, consistently appropriate, not one to raise alarms. And yet, a subtle thrill, a delicate shiver of the unknown, coursed through me. It was never about Mr. Whitmore. Not quite. It was about engaging in an endeavor solely for my own sake, an unforeseen occurrence. The following morning, I returned his call and affirmed my decision with a simple yes. Friday arrived in the blink of an eye. A small bag was packed by me. A few books I had intended to delve into, cozy denim, a cozy sweater, my trusty hiking boots. When I departed, Mark was already immersed in his work. A swift peck. Enjoy yourself thoroughly. Reach out to me, cast aside with a casual flick of his shoulder. The journey spanned approximately 3 hours, slowly departing from the urban expanse, ascending into undulating hills that were softly whispering the first signs of autumn. The atmosphere became sharper, purer. Mr. Whitmore's instructions were exact, guiding me away from the bustling main highway and onto a quieter county road. Then I found myself on a gravel track, one I might have overlooked had I not been searching for it. The last leg unfolded along a slender dirt path, meandering through a thick expanse of pine trees. The sunlight filtered gently through the leaves above. I sensed I was already a world apart. The cabin was far from what one might deem small. The log structure was a masterpiece of craftsmanship. 2 stories rise gracefully, featuring a broad, inviting porch and expansive windows that frame a stunning panorama of a pristine lake, cradled by lush, wooded hills. Smoke drifted gently from a weathered stone chimney. It exuded a charm that was both rustic and elegant, embodying a sense of solidity and tranquility. As I brought my car to a halt, Mr. Whitmore stepped out from the front door. He wore a plaid flannel shirt paired with well-worn jeans, a striking departure from his typical urban wardrobe. He appeared somehow younger, more at ease. He smiled, a sincere warmth radiating from his expression, illuminating his eyes. "Welcome, Claire. It brings me great joy that you chose to join us." His voice in this place appeared to merge with the gentle murmur of the wind weaving through the pines. "Was your drive enjoyable?" "It was delightful, Mr. Whitmore," I declared as I emerged from the vehicle and extended my limbs. "An utterly stunning nation. Kindly refer to me as James. We find ourselves quite distant from the office." He waved his hand in the direction of the cabin. "Step inside. Allow me to take your bag. Allow me to help you find your place." He possessed a soothing presence that instantly calmed my nerves. The delicate strain I had been holding, the soft murmur of possibilities, started to fade away, giving way to a serene curiosity and an undeniable sense of alignment. An intriguing weekend awaited. The interior of the cabin exuded an even greater warmth than its exterior suggested. Glossy wooden floors embraced the vibrant hues of intricately woven rugs. A grand stone fireplace commanded attention on one wall of the living area, flanked by inviting armchairs and a sofa thoughtfully positioned in front of it. Bookshelves brimming with volumes adorned another wall, punctuated by intriguing artifacts. A solitary piece of driftwood, a curated assortment of lake stones, a beautifully framed botanical print. The air was infused with the rich aroma of wood smoke, the mustiness of old books, and a subtle hint of spice reminiscent of cinnamon. It was a sanctuary, not merely a structure. It resonated with his essence, the facet of James Whitmore that likely remained hidden from the eyes of those at Whitmore Industries. Text. "This is wonderful, James," I said, my sincerity evident in every word. My home, though cozy, seemed overwhelmed by the remnants of 3 decades of everyday existence. This was crafted with a profound sense of individuality. My sincere gratitude, Claire. It serves as my refuge. He guided me to a guest room on the upper floor. The room exuded a delightful simplicity, adorned with a lovingly crafted quilt draped over the bed, while a window framed a picturesque view of the lake beyond. The water shimmered in a profound sapphire hue, mirroring the pristine expanse of the sky above. The restroom lies conveniently just across the hall. Settle in and find your ease. I was just about to brew some tea. Would you rather have coffee instead? "Tea sounds lovely," I remarked from downstairs. As he navigated the kitchen, a surprisingly modern and well-equipped haven nestled within its rustic exterior. As I settled into one of the armchairs near the flickering fireplace, a sense of calm enveloped me. The expedition, with its fresh experiences, had worn me out more than I had acknowledged. The silence here was far from void. The air was alive with the delicate symphony of nature, the far-off cry of a loon, the whisper of leaves in the breeze, the soft caress of water kissing the shore. James reappeared, balancing a tray that bore a teapot, 2 mugs, a small plate of cookies, and a delicate pitcher of milk, Earl Grey. "I trust that will be acceptable. Flawless." He poured the tea with a deliberate elegance, each motion fluid and unhurried. We lingered in a cozy silence for a while, savoring our tea and gazing out at the tranquil lake. It was not uncomfortable. It was a shared experience, filled with warmth and understanding. "Mark mentioned that you possess quite the talent for gardening," he said eventually, his gaze warm. A smile graced my lips. "I make an effort. It serves as my refuge. I believe in immersing myself in the earth. I comprehend that this space belongs to me in that regard." He waved his hand in a vague manner, recalling how he had crafted parts of this with his own hands, nurturing the woods. It provides a sense of fulfillment that spreadsheets simply cannot replicate. A true laugh escaped me. The dialogue must have unfolded effortlessly from that point onward. Our conversation meandered through the world of literature. His collection was nothing short of remarkable, encompassing the timeless elegance of classic literature, the gripping intensity of modern thrillers, and a touch of poetic beauty. He inquired about my favorites and genuinely engaged, as I shared my thoughts on them. He spoke of his late wife, a fleeting mention wrapped in a soft melancholy, yet tinged with a tender affection. Years ago, he crafted this cabin alongside her, their dream intertwined, a vision they both cherished. Receiving that information deepened the tranquility I experienced in this place. It seemed to be a sanctuary woven from the threads of affection. He refrained from delving into my life with Mark, yet he inquired about my children, now grown and away, as well as my own subdued aspirations for the future in this quieter, emptier house. It was peculiar, engaging in such candid conversation with a person I hardly knew, and yet it felt completely effortless. He possessed a unique talent for posing questions that compelled you to respond truthfully, inviting you to delve into your own reflections. As the afternoon light began to soften, casting a gentle glow over the lake in shades of gold and rose, he proposed a stroll before dinner. A path winds its way around the cove. The light at this hour possesses a captivating beauty. As we strolled together, the ground beneath us was cushioned with a layer of pine needles. He gestured towards various trees, naming the birds whose melodies floated gently in the breeze. He refrained from flaunting his expertise. He expressed his deep affection for this place. For the first time in years, I discovered a depth to my breathing that I had long forgotten. The quiet strain I had borne for an eternity, the strain of a life unreflected upon, seemed to be easing its hold with each passing moment. He inquired about the aspirations I held in my youth, in the days prior to marriage and the arrival of children. It was a query that had remained unspoken for years, perhaps even decades. I paused, then discovered myself sharing my desire to be a painter. A yearning I had tucked away so meticulously that it had nearly slipped from memory. He refrained from dispensing empty words or superficial reassurances. He merely nodded, a contemplative look crossing his face, as if he grasped the significance of those dreams tucked away. The evening meal was unpretentious, yet delightful. Perfectly grilled salmon, accompanied by a fresh salad crafted from the vibrant greens cultivated in a modest, sheltered plot behind the cabin, all complemented by a loaf of crusty bread. We dined at a quaint table on the porch, the air turning crisp as twilight descended. The stars started to reveal themselves, dazzlingly bright and countless, a world away from the glow of urban life. The stars before me evoke memories from my childhood, a time long past. I murmured, gazing upward in wonder. "They're always here," James murmured. We simply overlook the act of observing. In that instant, as we sat beneath the cool embrace of the night, with the infinite expanse of the universe unfurling above us, I sensed a bond with this serene, contemplative man that transcended anything I had ever known. It lacked any semblance of romance. It transcended mere surface understanding. a convergence of spirits, perhaps in a realm where facades crumbled like the leaves of fall. He recognized me, Claire, not merely as Mark's wife or a woman of a certain age. He beheld the girl who had envisioned a world of colors, and the woman who still harbored that flicker of inspiration deep within her. What took me by surprise was that he also made me see her once more. The chicken from my homeland, the neglected emails, the soothing hum of the known. It felt as though it were worlds apart. This experience resonated with an authenticity that was undeniable. The night grew darker, and a soothing stillness enveloped us once more. We had completed our meal, the plates now empty, yet neither of us felt inclined to retreat indoors. The air had taken on a crispness, prompting me to draw my sweater a touch closer around me. James observed. "Feeling a bit of a chill in the air?" he inquired, his voice resonating like a distant thunder. I could ignite the flame within. "If you'd like to linger under the stars a bit longer, I have a couple of old, warm blankets we could use out here." "The stars," I insisted, wishing to preserve the enchantment of the night. He stood up and stepped inside, re-emerging shortly after with a pair of plush, warm wool blankets. He offered one to me, and it enveloped me in a sense of delightful solace. He elegantly draped the other over his own shoulders. We lingered in that moment, two silhouettes enveloped in warmth, our eyes drawn to the sky adorned with shimmering diamonds. "It's amusing," I caught myself uttering the word, emerging as if it had slipped out effortlessly. For years, I've sensed that I'm aboard a train, gliding steadily along a predetermined path. It's not an entirely unworthy track, one might say. It feels comfortable and familiar, yet I realize I haven't genuinely gazed out the window in quite some time. James paused, allowing my words to linger in the crisp atmosphere. He remarked that at times, a shift in perspective is necessary to recall the beauty of the view. His words echoed profoundly in my soul. This weekend, this cabin, this unforeseen camaraderie, it offered a fresh perspective. He had no intention of transforming my existence or presenting answers to dilemmas I had yet to fully express to my own understanding. His mere existence filled the space, and within that presence, I discovered a sense of self that had eluded me for years. He started to speak then, not of work or any trivial matters, but of the constellations that adorned the sky above us. He gestured towards Orion, the Pleiades, and Cassiopeia, weaving tales of ancient lore that danced among the stars. His voice flowed with a serene allure, drawing me in completely, leaving me spellbound. It transcended the confines of a mere lecture. It was a revelation, as though he were disclosing the hidden truths of the cosmos that had been entrusted to him alone. I came to understand that what enveloped me was a deep sensation of being acknowledged and understood, free from judgment, devoid of evaluation, simply embraced. With Mark, the one I cherished, our dialogues had settled into well-trodden paths, their contours softened by the passage of time and the tapestry of our shared experiences. In that moment, a sense of solace enveloped me, yet it was accompanied by an absence of exploration. In the presence of James, a sense of novelty enveloped everything. "You know," he said, his gaze still fixed on the stars, "my wife Clara adored this. Silence envelops the night, punctuated only by the brilliance of the stars." She often remarked that this was the place where everything fell into place. He took a moment to pause. "It has been quite a while since I've shared my thoughts about her with anyone." "I appreciate you taking the time to share that with me." I murmured. It deepens my appreciation for the tranquility of this place even further. A soothing stillness enveloped the scene once more, interrupted solely by the far-off call of an owl and the gentle crackling of a log adjusting in the hearth, its warmth barely extending to where we sat. A surprising wave of emotions surged within me. Not sadness, but a profound gratitude for this moment, for this unforeseen connection. It felt like a coiled spring within me had at last started to release its tension. For a fleeting moment, I must have succumbed to slumber, entranced by the serene stillness and the soft whispers of the night, as I was jolted back to awareness by James's gentle voice breaking the silence. "Claire, it might be time for us to make our way inside. The hour grows late, and the mountain air holds a beguiling charm." I offered a slight, sheepish nod. "Indeed, you are correct. Your tales, much like the stars, have ensnared my imagination in a captivating trance." We lingered, and as I folded the blanket, a sense of hesitation washed over me, unwilling to bring the evening to a close. The living room was enveloped in the gentle warmth of the fading firelight. The tomes lining the shelves appeared to murmur hidden truths in the soft glow of the fading light. "Thank you, James," I said, glancing at him as I stood at the foot of the stairs. "Today has exceeded all my expectations." He locked eyes with me, his gaze infused with a profound warmth. "The delight has been entirely my own. Claire, it brings me joy to see you here. Rest peacefully." In the sanctuary of my room, beneath the lovingly crafted quilt, the aroma of pine and the delicate trace of wood smoke lingered in the air. I found myself awake for what felt like an eternity, not plagued by a restless mind, but enveloped in a serene sense of wonder. Nothing scandalous had transpired, nothing that would capture the attention of the tabloids, and yet a deep transformation had taken place within me. A door swung ajar, revealing a facet of my being I believed had been sealed forever. The woman who gazed at the stars and dared to dream. The woman who sensed a bond rooted in shared humanity, mutual respect, and the serene delight of being genuinely understood. As I surrendered to the embrace of slumber, a sense of anticipation lingered within me, for this weekend was merely in its infancy, and I sensed that the most profound revelations awaited in the dawn's gentle glow. As the first light of dawn crept through the window, I stirred awake to the gentle melody of birdsong, a serene invitation to embrace the day. For a fleeting instant, I found myself disoriented, surrounded by the unfamiliarity of the room, the silence starkly contrasting with the usual urban symphony. Suddenly, memories flooded back. The cabin, the serene lake, James, a smile graced my lips. I experienced a sense of buoyancy, a profound rest that transcended mere slumber. I slipped into my clothes with care and descended the stairs softly, hoping not to rouse James if he remained in slumber. Yet, the enticing scent of coffee mingled with the warm fragrance of something baking, perhaps bacon, revealed that he was already awake. In the kitchen, I discovered him, busily frying bacon, while a pot of coffee gurgled cheerfully on the counter. He hummed softly to himself, a melody unfamiliar to my ears, yet it resonated with a sense of contentment. "Good morning, Claire," he said, turning with a smile. "Did you sleep well, like a log?" I responded, a warmth enveloping me that transcended the coffee, a sensation more delightful than I had experienced in ages. "How may I assist you? Simply let go and unwind. The morning meal is nearly prepared." What is your preferred way to enjoy eggs? We enjoyed breakfast on the porch once more, the early morning mist lingering over the lake's surface, rendering it both ethereal and enigmatic. The atmosphere was crisp and invigorating, infused with the fragrance of moist soil and evergreen trees. We conversed effortlessly about the mundane, the relentless deer that persistently devoured his efforts in the vegetable garden, and my own struggles with aphids on my roses. It exuded a sense of warmth and familiarity, as though we had been entwined in our morning rituals for countless years. After breakfast, he inquired, "What would you like to do today, Claire?" We could explore the enchanting hiking trails, glide across the lake in a canoe, or, if tranquility calls to you, settle onto the porch with a captivating book in hand. The notion of gliding over that tranquil, mist-covered lake was utterly enchanting. The canoe resonates with a delightful charm. He possessed an old, beautifully maintained cedar strip canoe, carefully tucked away in a quaint boathouse by the water's edge. United, we bore it to the edge of the land. As I attempted to get in, the experience was somewhat unsteady, and I couldn't help but chuckle as I almost toppled us both into the cold water. Yet James remained calm and assured, skillfully guiding me through the process. As we ventured onto the water, a deep stillness surrounded us. All that could be heard were the soft splashes of our paddles, the delicate trickle of water cascading from the blades, and the faint call of a distant waterfowl. The mist dissipated as the sun ascended, and the lake morphed into a flawless mirror, capturing the heavens and the lush, tree-clad hillsides. Our conversation was sparse as we glided through the water. It was unnecessary. A dialogue unfolded on a deeper plane, a mutual admiration for the beauty enveloping us, a harmonious flow in the cadence of our movements. As I wandered, my attention was drawn to the minutiae of my surroundings, the sunlight glimmering on a spider web delicately woven between the reeds, the graceful V-shape of a beaver gliding through the water, and the nuanced gradients of green that adorned the mountainside. My senses were vibrant, stirred into existence. Eventually, James guided us to a hidden inlet, where a delicate waterfall tumbled over moss-covered stones into the serene lake. We eased the canoe onto a gravelly stretch of shore, settling in to absorb the melodic splashes of the water. "This is my favorite spot," he murmured softly. "Clara and I would often gather here for delightful picnics." I felt honored that he entrusted me with these cherished memories, these hallowed spaces. It was never about usurping anyone's place or encroaching upon what once was. It was as if I had been granted the privilege to observe the timeless strength of love and connection, expanding the capacity of my own heart. He then turned to me, a contemplative look crossing his face. "You spoke of your desire to paint yesterday. Claire, do you ever find yourself reflecting on it, or do you sometimes indulge in sketching just for your own enjoyment?" A warm flush began to rise along my neck. It has been an eternity, spanning decades. I'm at a complete loss on how to begin. All of my supplies have either dried up or vanished during moves long ago. He nodded slowly, a gesture of comprehension, yet the question lingered. Does that yearning ever return? I gazed upon the waterfall, observing the dance of light upon the water, the intricate textures of moss and stone. At times, I found myself speaking in a voice that was scarcely more than a whisper. When I encounter something strikingly beautiful, an instinct stirs within me, a desire to seize it, not merely through a photograph, but in a deeper sense. He refrained from pushing the matter further, yet moments later, as we glided gently back toward the heart of the lake, he remarked, "I have some old sketching pads and charcoals in the cabin. Nothing fancy, just some things that belong to my daughter in her teenage years. Should the mood inspire you, feel free to make use of them." His offer was nonchalant and tender, yet it struck my heart with an unexpected gravity. It seemed as though a cosmic authorization had been granted, not by him, but by the universe itself, a gentle push to delve into the untapped depths of my being. The remainder of the day unfolded in a similar atmosphere of serene camaraderie and tender exploration. In the afternoon, we embarked on a brief hike that led us to a lookout point where we were greeted by a breathtaking panoramic view of the expansive lake and the majestic mountains that embraced it. He filled a thermos with tea and gathered a few cookies left over from the previous day. We perched upon a sun-kissed rock as he recounted the rich tapestry of the region's past, the loggers and miners who first ventured into this land, and the ongoing endeavors to safeguard its pristine allure. What resonated with me profoundly was his profound reverence for all things: nature, history, the individuals surrounding him, and even the subtle dreams of a woman he scarcely knew. Neither an agenda nor an expectation lingered in the air. The atmosphere was one of shared respect and appreciation. That evening, following yet another simple yet delightful dinner, we settled by the fireplace. The night had turned cooler, and the warmth of the fire enveloped us in a comforting embrace. I found myself reflecting on Mark, not burdened by guilt or the weight of comparison, but illuminated by a fresh perspective. Our existence had transformed into a series of predictable patterns. Indeed, there existed a profound and enduring connection, rich with love and history. Perhaps what had been lacking was not a flaw in him or even in us, but rather my own disconnection from my inner self. I allowed my own hues to dull, and in that act, it seemed the world around me lost some of its brilliance as well. James sat immersed in his book, glasses resting comfortably on his nose, exuding a sense of complete satisfaction. The only sounds that filled the air were the gentle crackle of the fire and the soft rustle of his turning pages. I did not choose to pick up a book myself. Instead, I simply observed the flames as they twirled and flickered, my mind unexpectedly serene, yet alive with fresh ideas and viewpoints. What struck me as surprising was not merely the invitation or the ambiance. It was a realm that had been forged, a realm to inhale, a realm to ponder, a realm to merely exist. In that quiet space, a subtle awakening was taking place, a delicate unfolding of identity. What transpired was not a dramatic event, but rather a subtle and deep internal blossoming that defied belief. The rediscovery of Claire unfolded before me, revealing a truth more astonishing than any external drama could ever hope to convey. The following morning, our final morning, emerged with clarity and brilliance. The lake lay still, a flawless reflection of the heavens above. A sense of melancholy lingered in the atmosphere, a poignant reminder that this interlude was drawing to a close. James sat on the porch, cradling a mug of coffee, his gaze lost in the tranquil landscape before him. "Good morning," I remarked as I took my place beside him. He prepared another mug for me. "Good morning, Claire. This is our final one here for the time being." He smiled, yet a comparable depth lingered in his gaze. Silence enveloped us as we savored our coffee, each sip a quiet celebration of the tranquil morning around us. The silence that enveloped us felt as cozy as the dialogues we had shared. "At last," I remarked, "James, I find myself at a loss for words to express my gratitude for this weekend. The experience has been nothing short of transformative. It resonated as a grand term, yet it was the sole one that appeared to align perfectly." He faced me, his eyes steady and warm. "The pleasure was entirely mine, Claire. It has been quite a while since I've enjoyed such captivating companionship. Your presence infused this weathered cabin with a warmth it has long been without." His words resonated within me profoundly. I came across the sketching pads you referred to. With a hint of shyness, I confessed, "Last night after you had settled into bed, I took a moment to sketch the fireplace, just a fleeting impression. Though it lacked brilliance, a sincere smile illuminated his features. Yet you accomplished it. Isn't that what truly counts? The beginning, indeed, I concurred, a subtle excitement coursing through me. It was a pleasant surprise, a feeling of unexpected delight. He nodded. Even the faintest flicker of creativity requires nurturing. Ensure it remains lit this time, Claire. His words flowed not as a command, but as a gentle and profound encouragement. After a modest breakfast of toast and fruit, we gathered our things and prepared to leave. As we tidied the cabin, a warm sense of domesticity enveloped us, weaving a bond as we navigated the well-known corners of our shared space. It was an odd sensation to depart, akin to emerging from a splendid reverie, fully aware that the experience had etched an enduring impression upon my conscious existence. As my small bag found its place back in the car and the moment to depart arrived, an air of awkwardness enveloped me, the sort that arises when something cherished and unmarked draws to a close. How does one bid farewell to an experience that has subtly transformed the very fabric of their inner world? James escorted me to my vehicle. "Drive safely, Claire," he said. "The city will resonate with noise after this. I have no doubt it will." I hesitated for a moment, then locked eyes with him. "Once more, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to you, James, for your kindness, for your presence, for it all." "Thank you, Claire," he replied, his eyes radiating a warmth that I knew would linger in my memory, reminding an old man of the beauty found in good conversation and the comfort of shared silence. He paused for the briefest moment, then reached out his hand. I accepted it, and his handshake was strong, inviting, a symbol of genuine respect and camaraderie. It was a state of existence that held no excess, no deficiency. It was simply perfect. The journey home felt distinct from the one that had brought me there. The scenery remained unchanged, yet I perceived it with a fresh perspective. The hues appeared more vivid, the atmosphere more invigorating. A wave of tranquility washed over me, accompanied by a subtle joy that I had not fully recognized as absent from my life until that moment. Upon my return, the house enveloped me in a sense of both comfort and an unsettling strangeness. Mark lounged on the sofa, completely absorbed in the unfolding drama of the football game. A disarray of work papers lies scattered across the coffee table. "Ah, you've returned," he remarked, his gaze darting between the screen and me, then back once more. "What was your experience like?" "Did you enjoy your time with Whitmore?" "It was wonderful, Mark," I remarked, and my voice resonated in a way that felt unfamiliar, clearer, truly serene. James, he prefers to be called that at the cabin, extends his warm regards. "Oh, James, is it?" He flashed a grin, adopting a casual demeanor with the big boss. "I'm pleased to hear you enjoyed yourself." Once again, he immersed himself in the game. Once, I might have found that subtle absence of profound exploration unsettling, but now it no longer affects me. The realization dawned upon me that the experience at the cabin belonged solely to me. It required no understanding or validation from anyone else, not even Mark. It had unfolded deep within me. In the weeks that followed, a subtle transformation had undeniably taken place. Once more, I became aware of the subtle beauties surrounding me, the afternoon sun casting its gentle slant through the kitchen window, the delicate intricacies of a leaf's pattern. I acquired a modest sketchbook along with a collection of charcoal pencils. In the quiet moments, I began to sketch for my own pleasure. A bowl of fruit, my slumbering cat, the serene vista from my bedroom window. Though they lacked the brilliance of masterpieces, the mere act of creation, of reconnecting with that neglected aspect of my being, infused me with a serene satisfaction, a renewed sense of purpose that extended into various facets of my existence. My patience with Mark deepened, and our conversations flourished as I became more attuned to my own inner dialogue. I proposed a weekend getaway, just the two of us, to a charming bed and breakfast by the sea. He had spoken of his desire to visit long ago. His expression shifted from surprise to delight. I never revealed to Mark the complete truth of what transpired at the cabin, not out of a desire to keep it concealed, but because it was deeply personal, profoundly internal. It revolved around the hushed dialogues, the mutual stillness, the rekindling of celestial wonders, and the soft nudge from an unforeseen companion to reclaim a forgotten fragment of my being. The events that unfolded at Mr. Whitmore's cabin were neither scandalous nor dramatic enough to alter the course of my existence. It was an essence that transcended the ordinary, a depth that resonated with a profound significance. It served as a poignant reminder that bonds can emerge from the most unforeseen circumstances, that a foundation of mutual respect can create a pathway between individuals of stark contrast, and that the journey of personal growth need not always be marked by upheaval. At times, a serene weekend, a compassionate spirit, and the bravery to gaze upon the stars can remind you of your true self and the possibilities that lie ahead. And that, I am convinced, is a tale deserving of being shared,